come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass.
What a show, what a show, what a show, what a show. A really big shoe. Gesundheit. Yo, Mike. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, hello to Mike. Hello to Whiskey Dale already in chat. Great to see you guys here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Blow the Eating Supplements Preserve Bobcat Saloon Radio Show live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. I should mention, inside the clearly sumptuous and palatial SHR Media Studios, except I'm missing the cat. I don't know where Demi is right now, so I'm concerned. Maybe she's outside carousing with other cats. Well, you know those calicos. You got a belly up to the bar, we've kept your seat, and it's great to see you back. Dink. Dink. Going to be our bartender tonight. He pours with the best of them, and the lava lamp is in fact lighted right there to my left, to your right, which means that you can listen and chat at the shrmedia.com site, shrmedia.com. Listen there, chat there. A lot of people in the chat room already. Or you can watch on the SHR Media YouTube channel, or SHR Media Facebook page, or SHR Media group on Periscope. Whiskey Dale in chat says, where's the Clyde cam? Well, we had to sacrifice, we had 3 cams. We had to sacrifice one of them because the second chair, the third, oh God. All right, too much inside baseball. The camera that was on Clint's chair on the Sackheads show, Clint's camera went out. So what we did is we had to, a sacrifice had to be made. So we pulled the Clyde cam from Clyde, who is still over there, I should point out. There's Clyde right there, I can see him. But we had to take the Clyde cam and put it instead to cover Clint when he's here. Unfortunately, Clint is, these days, here less than he is customarily. I didn't say that right. Clint is gone more than he's here. So unfortunately, there was no Sackheads against tyranny last night on the SHR Media Network. However, I have it on good source, Clint, that next week, next Wednesday, whatever day that is, 18th, I think, Sackheads Clint says he's going to be here. Now, I've heard a rumor, it's just a nasty tumor to this effect, that perhaps, if we're lucky, Sackheads Sean may drop in as well. But again, I'm just saying, no, nothing etched in stone, just the potentiality that Sackheads Sean may be here next Wednesday night, next Tuesday night, and next Thursday night. I will be here. I will be here until November 6th. And the funny thing is, what about that darned November 6th? Well, it's going to go this way. Until November 6th, I'm going to be doing my level best to point out the obvious, that there is great news out there for conservatives, that we have to remain positive, and we have to get out and vote. We can't afford to be smug or complacent with the win involving Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh recently. This is the time to double down on resolution, to commit to supporting anything and everything that isn't a Democrat, a leftist, or an American media maggot. We can't afford to listen to the bad news leftists, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to ratchet up the bad news and continue to spew crap about conservatives and our chances. We know they lie. They are biased, and they publish falsehoods with impunity. We know that. The American media maggots are basically nothing more than the publishing arm for Democrats and leftists, and we know that's a given as well. We have to get out. We have to vote red in November. We have to keep the House. We have to keep the Senate. We have to mail in our absentee ballots. We can let absolutely nothing deter us from appearing at the polls on November 6th. No matter the circumstances, no matter the weather, it just doesn't matter. Because leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots have one goal in mind: to destroy us, to destroy conservatives, eliminate us, hurt us, both politically and these days physically as well. We can't let that stand. Commitment, resolution, fortitude. We have to stand up for America and for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. So that's why I say vote red on November 6th. We helped to make America great. America was always great, as a matter of fact. Now we're going to keep it great. Let's see. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I just received a text from Carrie. And as a matter of fact, let me update you that. If you haven't been following the social media, tonight we are going to have Carrie Baxter Donovan on. And in the second hour, as per standard, there's a ton of good news. Now, Carrie has been out far and wide, digging deep to find news stories, and we're going to go with some of her news stories as well. And let me pull up this. I'm going to play this again. I'm sorry. When you win, there have to be consequences, and sometimes I'm going to play an abbreviated version of what I played last Tuesday, but I'm going to play it nevertheless. In the meantime, let's see if we can find Carrie and see if she's going to be around.
I am around.
She is around. Well, I've been accused of being round and in shape.
I'm actually a pear, I think, but, whatever.
For BZ, round is a shape. So I'm in shape, sort of, kind of. Hey, I played a longer version of this last Tuesday, and I found an abbreviated version. But, however, by the way, we're talking to Carrie Baxter Donovan. Carrie happens to be BZ's East Coast political goddess. For good reason, for a host of good reasons. And we will get back to Carrie in just a moment, and we're going to ask her where she can be read and found, etc. But I want me and Carrie to continue to laugh at about 2.5 minutes of this, because I'm sorry, I just can't not continue to play this.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
Could he actually win?
No freaking way!
Which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Donald Trump.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
Really? Trump will not be president.
Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
He's not going to be president.
A man who will never be president of the United States.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank.
He will never be president.
Donald Trump is not going to become president of the United States.
Right.
She's at plus 19. Do you think the tapes made a difference? Of course! They made all the difference!
This race is over.
Thanks, Bob.
Has raised more than double Donald Trump, vastly outspending him.
The presidency at about 89% for Hillary Clinton.
Your analytical model has never been wrong. Now projects Hillary Clinton to win presidential election.
100% chance.
100%.
You still think she has a 100% chance of winning the election?
I do.
And what would Donald Trump have to do to turn things around?
Prayer and hope for a Festivus miracle.
This is CNN's coverage of Election Night in America. The fight for the presidency.
Because we don't care. Oh, okay, have Kentucky. Who cares?
Kentucky.
Who cares?
Don't care.
Indiana, with West Virginia, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, Kansas, Nebraska, and Wyoming with its vote, North Dakota and South Dakota, Texas.
Up and down the middle of the country, all red.
Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, Missouri.
It was at 80% an hour ago for Clinton. What is it now? 68%. Okay, God damn it, I'm nervous.
Ohio.
Hold. Ohio, gone.
Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a fucking landslide here. I don't see it at all.
North Carolina.
God damn it, if we need Florida, are you shitting me?
Florida.
It is fucking panic time.
Georgia.
Donald Trump, now the favorite to win the presidency.
Iowa.
New York Times now has it at 95% chance.
Utah.
Can still win, but in order to do so, she has to win Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
God damn, fuck.
Arizona.
Alaska.
Pennsylvania.
Michigan.
What a night. How did this
happen? I'm sorry. I love to replay that thing. Good God.
I would laugh my butt off if I had any butt left after laughing my butt off at them all the time.
So, Carrie Baxter Donovan, let's start at the start for people who don't know you,
sir.
all two of them, perhaps right now. Tell people a little bit about who you are and where you can be read and found, and also on social media, please.
Okay, well, I am at www.populist.media. That's my platform that I'm creating with my awesome partner, Scott. And we are building a grassroots platform for activists.
Okay.
And I'm on Twitter at Happit, HAPPIT 1776.
Okay.
And Carrie Baxter Donovan on Facebook.
Alrighty. I have to ask you, and I think you've said it before, but people who look at that on Twitter and go, Carrie Baxter Donovan equals HAPPIT 1776. How did you get that?
Yes. It's a Scottish word.
Happit.
I was searching for the Scottish word for liberty, and I ended up there. I'll let you figure out why when you figure out what the word means.
Okay. Alrighty.
It's a riddle.
It's a riddle wrapped in an enigma, just like a sphinx. Okay.
Absolutely. That's me.
Okay, so Carrie Baxter Donovan can be found on Facebook, and I happen to be looking at her page right now. Ooh, look, Carrie Baxter Donovan is running us live right now, as a matter of fact. Now, I'm also looking at, let's see, your website, which is populist.media. Folks, it's populist.media. Let's back up there a little bit. What made you want to create an entire website, which, by the way, as I've told you before, has a great design? Simple, uncluttered, you can find things all over the place, but why a website? Why did you decide that you're going to go with a brand new website? It's got tons of news articles. Many of them are written by yourself. So why strike out? Why go independent?
Well, because I am, first of all, I wanted to build my partner, when I say we, Scott and I.
Right.
So there's someone else who's, working his patoot off. Scott and I wanted to build a platform to give media access to activists so that they could go and write their articles about their activism, and we could spread it around on social media for them, that they could make their own videos, write their articles, put them up there with a cool photo and a headline, and then we would move the stories around for them. So currently I have Yvette, who we just gave admin access to, so she can post straight through and start really impressing you with her activism. If you scroll down on the right-hand side, you'll see that she made a video. It's in Spanish, and she's talking about socialism, and she's talking to millennial Spanish-speaking voters. She's a Trump supporter, and she's talking to them about why socialism is armed robbery. And so she's a perfect example of that. If I just had some more of Yvette, it would be so awesome. She's a perfect example. She's funny. She's smart. She's so darling cute. She actually was on InfoWars, and I think Alex Jones was totally impressed with how awesome she is. She has a great sense of humor, but she's brilliant. And so she writes her own articles on topics that she sees, current events. She has a passion for explaining the corruption of Univision to Spanish-speaking, Hispanic, young people especially.
Right.
That's her passion. She's fired up because she feels like she was bullied off of social media for a while until I found her. Jim Acosta had taken a photo of her with a Peppy doll, and I saw it on Twitter, and I just jumped on it, and I just said, I have to have you as my citizen journalist. You have to come over here and start writing more and doing things. So she is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Most of the articles right now I have written, not because I really am a great writer or want to be a great writer, but because I'm trying to build up, a following. And so the other day I actually broke a story, and I ended up getting a huge number of people on the website. So that's what I'm focusing on right now, is just trying to get attention on the website. And I'm hoping that I can get some more activists to come and still fill the site up with what they're doing. And I'm very fortunate that Roger Stone has been floating me some story ideas. He's been helpful in making connections for me with people who will bring me onto their shows to talk about things. But why I started it was I still believe in that idea that Andrew Breitbart put in my head. And I always say, I don't know if it was his original idea or what, but he's the one who put it in my head, citizen journalism, because I believe that Americans are experts. We're experts on liberty, and we're experts on what is going on in our communities. And with local news really falling apart, people don't have access to get their information out anymore, especially like with what's going on today, where Facebook just shut down 800 pages, and I can explain that to you, what's going on there.
Okay, that was one of the topics. Yep.
Yeah, they just basically cut our head off so that we cannot get into the public stream. Okay, because now what's been created is the public stream, and it's going through everyone's neighborhoods and going through everyone's towns, and it's collecting up all of the news, and they basically just cut us off completely, and we cannot get into that public stream now because the way that we were doing it, they just disabled. So, for example, last week I broke a story, and it was very popular, and it got the story got over 150,000 views. For my little teeny tiny site, that's a big, huge deal, right? So the 150,000 or more people who were on my site looking around, looking at other things. Well, of course, they're going to come and look around and see what else is there, and they're going to see Peggy Hubbard's there, and she's talking about, she's a black activist who's been banned off Facebook, and so et cetera, right? That's the idea, is to get the focus on the grassroots. So I could talk about it forever if I rambled too long, but that's really what I want to do, is make a platform that other people can use for their activism, to get their message out to their populations. Because, for example, Yvette is the perfect person to go and speak to Spanish-speaking voters. I can talk to them all day, but it's not going to be as impactful as if she talks to them. Peggy Hubbard is a black woman. She's a veteran. She's a former law enforcement. She's perfect to talk to that group of people and explain her point of view, right? It's not the same as identity politics, because we're not trying to keep people in those groups, but definitely people tend to listen to people who they know have shared a common struggle, or who understand a certain, ethnic background. That just is humanity. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that's really what we're striving for at Populist Media. So we're always looking for new activists, people who are experts in their topic, or who have a community that they want to reach out to.
Sure. Common goals, common ground. Folks, populist.media. Now, at the top, there are a whole bunch of various places that you can go, and this is how basically comprehensive the site is. You can go to government, world stories, culture, business, education, border, crime, entertainment, grassroots, activists, local news, media, etc., all right there. So let me back up a little bit. I've been watching some of the stuff on your Facebook and watching some of the, I can't necessarily say arguments, but discussions that you've been getting in. And a lot of things have occurred since you and I chatted about 3 weeks ago. It might even be about a month ago, but I know it's at least 3 weeks. One of the major ones that occurred is the not just the nomination, but the swearing in of now Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
That brought in and of itself a massive host of issues with the hashtag Me Too movement, and you gotta believe women. And I've been watching you have various discussions with regard to, and again, last Thursday night, that's right, last Thursday night, a week ago, I was speaking with Melanie Collette, and I didn't want to talk to Melanie about anything that had to do with money. We talked about culture. And that's kind of the point that I'd like to go for right now. With this Kavanaugh thing, I mean, I think you have sons only, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I have a daughter, 2 sons and a daughter.
2 sons and a daughter. Okay, so you have a vested interest in making sure that, so to speak, both sides of the aisle are treated fairly and with equanimity. In other words, you have an investment in a daughter, you have an investment in 2 sons. What did you happen to think with the Democrat, what I would call the Democrat lunacy and the progressive lunacy? Because it's what they displayed there is just what they displayed and are continuing to display with Donald John Trump, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head. In other words, let's going to shoot for a sexual assault issue. So first they tried to bring him down on the issues, and they saw that that wasn't going to work. They had this explosive hand grenade, holding it behind their back, and they were waiting to see what they threw up against the wall against him to see what would stick or didn't. Well, trying to say that he's a bad jurist, that didn't stick. Feinstein pulled out the hand grenade, threw it in the room, and slammed the door late so that he didn't get a chance to respond in any kind of a like or reasonable time period. So after the Christine Blasey Ford allegations, then the Ramirez allegations, then the Swetnick allegations, did it not seem to you that each level of allegation was becoming more insane than the first?
Well, so, while I'm trying to build this platform basically for other people, I might as well use it for my own activism. And my own activism always has to do with smashing cultural Marxism, and that includes feminism. And the Me Too movement, I am tired of being told that is a proper movement. I'm tired especially of men telling me that I have to be respectful of that, because I'm not at all. I don't respect it. None. So I might as well use this platform to write about my own activism. And so I was writing, oh my gosh, I was just writing day and night on everything that I saw. It was a brilliant, catastrophic failure of the Democrat Party to once again, it was a failure for them, but it was brilliant for us because they once again showed us how completely detached they are from our civilization, from our culture, from being an American. They do not understand Americans. There are 2 different types of Americans, quote unquote Americans. There are ethnic Americans, and there are what do I call it? Physical Americans who just live here. They don't understand what it is to be an American. So it was brilliant in the sense that you could really see that community organizing, the methods, the subversive propaganda, the tactics that they use in bullying people, and the brainwashing that has been going on for generations. Watching Christine Blasey Ford and watching the media pretend as if she was credible whatsoever. I mean, the whole thing was a circus, and it was a catastrophic failure for them because once again they got completely humiliated. They're losers. They can't do anything right, and all they have left now is we're the corrupt criminal party who really, 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 we really want to win. That's all they have. And if we could just step back and watch it again, it's almost as if it would be happening in a big ring circus with all kinds of crazy, clowns running around. They were completely ridiculous, detached from reality, but it was so much fun to write about them and to just keep stomping and throat punching them, especially on the feminist stuff. I loved throat punching on the feminist stuff. So I kind of like, I had a great time. It was really fun, but I never doubted for a minute that he wasn't going to get confirmed. And people would call me and say, you're wrong. And I'm like, but I'm not wrong. He's going to get confirmed, because there's no way Trump is going to let this thing go down without him winning, right? So it was like, well, what happens when President Trump says by any means necessary, which is a little bit different. When the left says by any means necessary, they mean violence.
Yes, they do.
When the right says by any means, when we say by any means necessary, we mean we're going to beat you into the ground psychologically until you can't get up anymore. And we hope that you do get up, because we don't want to be violent, but you're not going to want to ever get up ever again, because we're going to outsmart you, outclass you, be faster, smarter. And that's what Trump is finally showing the Republicans, is how to win, maybe even dirty sometimes, but at least they're not going to get killed. We're not talking about violence, right? But, yeah, I knew that the whole thing was absolutely fascinating, wasn't it? I almost kind of miss it now that it's over.
Oh, listen, it hasn't gone anywhere for this very good reason. And I'd like to come back to Kavanaugh in just a moment. But feature this, Carrie Baxter Donovan, with whom I'm speaking right now. And she's the creator of Populist Media. You can find it at populist.media. Carrie Baxter Donovan, feature this. I just had a little bit of a skirmish. I can't say it's a war from a lot of absolutely unarmed leftists on Twitter who said, go back to your screaming, crying room. And they were talking about Kanye West. And I said, hey, Kanye West has every right to say what it is. Oh, Kanye West is mental. He's off his meds, blah, blah, blah. And essentially what I said is, well, no matter what you say, here's the bottom line. Trump is still president. We own the House. We own the Senate. And by the way, we have 2 new justices that were ensconced recently, Gorsuch and now Kavanaugh. Now, that having been said, Carrie Baxter Donovan, and I got about 3 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. Let me throw a what-if scenario to you. What if, now we got Kavanaugh, Trump is still president, okay, now in the midterms, what if, with that combination of factors, what if we keep the House and what if we keep the Senate in the midterms? Then what happens?
Then what happens is I believe we're going to get the wall. Some people disagree with that, even if we get those. Even if we keep the power, I think we're going to get the wall. I think that Trump is going to take the gloves off and just start really cleaning out some of the corruption. I don't know if he'll ever be able to get all of it, because it's just so invasive, and these people are such maggots who gravitate to D.C. and, to get at that public tax money. But I think that he's going to eradicate cultural Marxism. I see him fighting the institutions where it's thriving, and with like the public education. So I think that you're going to see a lot of his agenda that he hasn't been able to work on coming out and thrilling all of us and causing people to flee to Venezuela, where they can go be happy in their socialist utopia.
This is a very interesting quote from White Mamba in chat. He just wrote, all I hear about politics these days is Rush talking about Kanye in the White House and how the Dems are going to be losing voters come November. Question posed, what do Democrat voters run on? Economy, healthcare, national security, veteran care? It's going to be a long haul. If Trump wins in 2020, he said this first, if Trump wins in 2020, the current Democrat Party is in fact D for done. Any thoughts on that before we go to the break? Carrie Baxter Donovan.
Yeah, I agree. They're done. They're even more doner than they are now. That inroads into the black community is breaking up the Democrat Party so fast that it's turning them in the streets and being violent until Hillary comes out basically and calls for a civil war against white women. Is how much Trump has impacted the black community. That was very instrumental in him winning. He had to get up to like 26%. It was like if he could get to 24%, 25%, that was it. The Democrats were done. And he's way past that. They're freaking out.
Oh, my God, are they? I think basically what I was
they'll
getting...
be even more dunner. He's right.
What I was referring to is after November 6th, on November 7th, I think a lot of bad crap is going to step off. Folks, we're talking to Carrie Baxter Donovan, BZ's East Coast political goddess, live and direct right here on the... Hey, stop doing that. There we go. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back to continue talking to Carrie Baxter Donovan.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's no surrender ever, because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, who's going to take Sean's chair?
I'll run the buttons if you want.
The what?
The slider thingies.
The
Those
what?
things.
We have those?
Yeah, right over there.
Where?
It's on the board. That damn technology.
Fucking technology.
I know. What are we going to call it?
Call what?
The show.
What?
The show.
What show?
The new show, Wednesdays. Every Wednesday on shrmedia.com. 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. Sackheads.
Against tyranny.
There you
go. Against tyranny.
I like that. Let's do it.
You guys are pork.
Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. Remember, on Twitter, Follow the SHR Media Network at SHR Media Group, and follow me at BZEP, B-Z-E-P. Like us, friend us, and follow us on Facebook at SHR Media Group, and share all of my videos. Please friend me and share my posts on Facebook at Biff Zeppi, Z-E-P-P-E. You can watch us on YouTube like you're doing right now at SHR Media. And first, you got to subscribe to our channel so that you can watch us all the time. You got to like our videos, give us a big thumbs up, and share those as well. Folks, we're talking to Carrie Baxter Donovan. And I had said that I think something bad is going to happen November 7th if the Democrats don't get in and turn over the House or the Senate or both. Because in an off year, it's common knowledge politically that the people not holding the White House usually make a large inroad into the House and the Senate itself, but it's starting to look not that way. So Carrie Baxter Donovan.
Wow.
Yes. Am I speaking out of church by saying that? Does it seem now? The other thing is, we have to be careful.
There's a school of thought that you don't want to be overzealous.
Right.
You don't want to get cocky about winning because that might cause people to not vote. No, there are people who disagree with that. I don't know, but I'm just telling you that's how it you've worked in politics long enough. It's just how it is. So I believe that all indicators are showing that there is indeed a massive red wave. With all of the different activism, that we have been highlighting for the last, months, that the deplorables have been doing, that our, command of social media, which is while they're shutting us down, that Hillary Clinton and Eric Holder would not be calling for violence in the streets unless they were losing. So there's one massive indicator right there.
Oh.
Yeah, things are not going their way. And, things like the walkaway movement, QAnon, and my favorite, Steve Bannon's movie, Trump at War, which is out, and I hope you've watched, and I hope all your listeners will go and watch. People have been so engaged, and there has been so much discussion of, we have to get out and go vote and save President Trump from being impeached. On top of that, the chuckleheads on the left keep screwing up. It's like they want Trump to get reelected. They have to, because Maxine Waters calling for violence. I mean, that makes people not want to be identified as Democrats. They're becoming lunatics. You saw through the Kavanaugh hearing. So there are a number of factors going on which are indicating that it's not a GOP thing, because they couldn't figure out how to win a local race, let alone, all of these different things that are going on in the midterms. They simply can't. They really simply cannot figure out how to win. This is the Trump effect. This is the deplorables winning it again, like they did in 2016, with all of the different variety of activists and methods that we're using to get that message out. So I predict a big win, bigger than 2016. I think we'll have even more people. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, that's what
I'm saying.
It's like Harrison Ford in Star Wars, right?
Great kid, don't get cocky.
That's right, kid. Don't get cocky. So but on the other hand, we can't afford to be complacent. We got to get out, and I've been pounding it and hammering it home. White Mamba has continued to say some really interesting things here in chat. He said also regarding the comment that D is for done. Here's the truth, he says. Black unemployment rates, historic low. Hispanic unemployment rates, historically low. Manufacturing coming back to America. ISIS defeated. Border security. He brings up Nikki Haley. I'm going to get to that in just a second. I wonder if Nikki Haley is going to be Trump's VP in 2020. He says, slick move, in my opinion. Then again, they're going to tear into that lady like a bunch of hungry lions. And he continues to write, winning on energy and oil, too, and more things. And what he was saying, I think, was rather prescient. And I think it's what you're saying, and I definitely know it's what I'm saying. The comments today that he was listening to on radio and the TV said that essentially the gamble that like you said, the gamble that the Democrats took to destroy Judge Kavanaugh, that ended up being the final straw for a lot of people to just walk away. And speaking in terms of walk away, I interviewed Brandon Straka. We haven't gotten to the point where the October 26th, 27th, and 28th walk away on D.C. movement, that isn't even here yet. So there are a lot of irons in the fire right now.
There are a number of things going to happen in D.C. that weekend. Now, excuse me, one of the most important things, excuse me. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. That was so weird, trying to get my mouth away from the phone. There's so many things that President Trump has done right to line himself up for this midterm victory. And one of them is the unemployment rate in the Black community. That is really huge for him to have gained the trust of the Black community. So as we who do get out the vote and minority outreach, we know that we can go out and talk to them and try to convince them, to vote our way for Republicans. We've seen it happen in a number of Republican districts where the Black vote has actually come in and saved Republicans because they've been promised things were going to happen, right? The problem is there are a lot of politicians who will go and lie and say that things are going to happen to get those votes. President Trump has been able to deliver all of the things that he had promised to them. So when he said low unemployment rates, he's delivered that. They are in love with him now because he went into the Black community and he basically said, I want your vote. You're important to me. Your quality of life is important to me. And I'm not just here to ask for your vote. I'm going to get it. And I'm going to bring jobs back. And now in manufacturing, there are people who are a year behind in manufacturing because they can't even fill the jobs up so fast, right? So that's a total quality of life change. And that's what Kanye was talking about. Gee, I don't think he's crazy. I think that he actually has gone and talked to some people who live in the inner city. That's what's crazy about him to the elite politicians. But that's why Trump has gotten himself lined up so well for these midterms because people know they have to protect his agenda, right? And that's jobs and the economy and all of those things. So, I think it's going to be surprising to a lot of people, and I think it's going to be surprising to the Republicans even. And so that weekend that Brandon is having his walkaway march, right. In D.C., President Trump is going to speak to Turning Point, who's also having a meeting there. And they have Candace Owens, I believe. They've spun her off into a new, it's basically minority outreach is what she's doing. And she's good at that. So that's a great thing. President Trump is going to go there and speak to them. That is a signal about where his loyalties lie and his interest is and his passion, because he's put out a lot of feelers. And that's going to be happening that same weekend. So that weekend in D.C., boy, if you're going to have the Democrat walkaway, you're going to have the minority outreach going on, and President Trump, he can tweet and command the media for the entire day. So, I'll write this fantastic article, right? And if President Trump has come out and tweeted, it's like nobody's talking about anything else. No one's looking at anything else. So he is just in a really good position, I think.
I would tend to agree as well. I played this on Tuesday, and I'd like to play it for you now because I think Ben Shapiro absolutely hits it out of the park. And as you said, we have to be cautious here.
Well, conservatives have been able to carve out an effective independent media presence and have been able to achieve political victory in elections. The chief cultural institutions of our nation are in the hands of leftists, radicals, who don't care about individual rights, or at least not the individual rights of those who disagree. In their pursuit of utopia, every person is either a tool or an obstacle. Now that Justice Kavanaugh is joining the Supreme Court, don't get complacent. Don't think the fight is over. It's just beginning. And now we know the stakes. Remember that on November 6th.
Absolutely correct. We cannot afford to be complacent in any way, shape, or form. Because as you just...
And to see the Never-Trumpers coming out, to see the Never-Trumpers like Shapiro and McConnell and Lindsey Graham, that tells you right there is another massive indicator.
Well,
if Trump's victories have won them over, we're in really good shape. We're doing really well.
I just read a story from townhall.com. No, I'm sorry. It was an op-ed in the Washington Post from Hugh Hewitt on Tuesday night. Hugh Hewitt, he wasn't necessarily a never-Trumper. He's not a Bill Kristol or a George Will, those two tards, apostrophe, tards. But he has never been firmly in the column of Trump. Even Hugh Hewitt has come around and is writing, you know what? I have to find the wins where we have them. And he's doing more now than the previous president has done in 8 years. Well, we just had this. Let me play this. This just, this is endemic of what leftists want. When you can't win in the Electoral College, for example, you got to change the rules. When you can't win in SCOTUS, you got to change the rules. When you can't win anywhere, you have to change the rules. The funny thing is, no one seems to remember that President Clinton did not win the popular vote the 2 times he was elected, and yet you didn't hear Hillary saying that we have to change the Electoral College. Here's Hillary, however, saying something new from yesterday.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again. But until then, the only...
Okay, stop. Because only Democrats, leftists in the American media, maggots are civil. Right? Carrie Baxter Donovan? They're the only ones that are civil.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's such a psychopath.
Jesus.
She's the perfect psychopath. You're not going to have civility until you give me my way, because I'm going to keep making trouble for you. And so the best thing to do is, because I really want my way. Did I say really? I really want it. Okay, Hillary, we know that you really want your way, but guess what? America wants an American comeback. I've been writing this for a few weeks now, and I've really gotten a positive response saying this is the American comeback. So that's why these never-Trumpers they don't want to be hanging out with those radical leftists like Hillary. Nobody cares what Hillary wants, but she won't go away, and people are scared of her because she's crazy. And so, for her to come out yesterday or this week, I wrote a little article about Hillary with a picture of her in a communist garb. I think she came out because we're all doing so well without her, and she has to remind us that we're scared of her. So she sent her flying monkeys out, and then she came out herself. She's just a disaster. What a waste of American life.
This is an interesting point from my very first kanji troll in chat, who says, does she, meaning you, have any polling data to bolster her view that there's going to be a massive Republican landslide this year, or is it just anecdotal? And does she know that manufacturing jobs have been experiencing losses in recent months? Just read the jobs report. Manufacturing is still experiencing a net loss in jobs numbers. Hey, Kanji Troll, in the past 8 years, as a matter of fact, the GDP has been a piece of crap, Kanji Troll. Oh, and by the way, Kanji Troll asks, does she have any thoughts on the Democrat Socialists of America? And then Kanji Troll asks, who have quintupled their membership under Trump and are now winning elections? Hey, Kanji Troll, you think AOC is a smart individual? AOC is about as intelligent as a houseplant, okay? Now, enough of Kanji Troll. I want to get back to the story that you were talking about.
For just a quick moment, I do have access to some polling data by one of the only pollsters who was correct in 2016. So yes, the answer is yes, they do. Okay. And the other answer to the manufacturing is, but you can't, you have to stop reading the Socialist Economist magazine and go out, take a little feet and walk it down and talk to some manufacturers, because they do not say the same thing as you read in glossy magazines. And the other thing was socialists winning in socialist communist little enclaves of New York City. Okay, fine, but the rest of the country's red, so there you go. All right, sorry, what?
Yeah, moving right along. Because Kanji Troll obviously thinks the Democrat Socialists of America are great people because it's working so fucking well in Venezuela.
And then they
but
call
I'm
us
sure
Nazis, but wait a minute, those were literally the Nazis.
Yeah,
So-
but Kanji Troll, I'm sure.
I'm happy to have a troll. Thank you.
Yeah, Kanji Troll is saying, I'm sure that the repartee, the witty repartee from Kanji Troll would be what every dictator has said in the past, and that's this. Well, guess what? Maduro just wasn't doing socialism properly in Venezuela. He knows, or she, my guess is Kanji Troll is a she has a much better idea how to do socialism than the next one. Right.
Well, I've picked up a lot of feminists who don't like my writing on how bizarre and freakish their movement is. So if she's following me, then it is a feminist. Feminists tell me that they want to hit me in the head with a shovel and light me on fire. They're so lovely. But what I want to say truly is, if you have children, then you know that what you're doing is wrong for your children. If you have a heartbeat, if you have any maternal instinct whatsoever for your children, or you care about the men in your life, you know that your feminism is toxic. You know that all of the leading feminists in the country from the time when we really needed feminism, if they're left, have all turned against the modern day feminist movement. So, I'm glad to be trolled and, have feminists, talking about democratic socialism as if it's meaningful, because it just makes me look like I'm a genius.
Well, it ain't working real well. It ain't working real well at all.
Okay.
In any event, tell us about, because we've got about 9 more minutes before the top of the hour. The one story that we were talking about that you said you got about 150,000 hits off of that. What story was that, by the way?
Well, that was one of my favorite stories that I've enjoyed writing, and that was about a young woman who I found on Twitter, who was emboldened enough to make a death threat to solicit the murder of Brett Kavanaugh on Twitter in public, and she's now lost her job over it. I suspect that she's probably involved in an investigation with the FBI because, as I was writing in my article, there is a climate of intent. When the left has become so vicious and violent and causing crimes and attacking people, that's called an environment of intent. And then she goes on Twitter and she says, hey, who wants to take one for the team and kill Brett Kavanaugh? And so I wrote that article, and I think I'm the one who broke it because of that, the activity that I saw, people reading it. And my point is that she's, of course, a feminist. She was a special ed teacher until she got fired from her job. Now, I'm not happy that she got fired from her job. I'm not happy that she's thrown her life away. There's a photo of her on my website. She's a beautiful young woman. And I actually debated with myself whether I wanted to be the one to highlight this story, because I really don't, even if she doesn't, politically agree with me, I don't want to hurt her. She's an American. I want her to have all of the blessings of America because I'm a mom. I see a little girl, I see someone who needs to be mommed on.
Right.
Mothers need to take their daughters and tell them, and like I have with my daughter, and she knows, feminism is not going to lead you to anything good. And you cannot behave like a lunatic. You will be dignified. If you're getting the feels about something, if you're being moody, you can take yourself into your room. You need a filter. You need to stay stable. And you cannot go insane when you have PMS, okay? We have vitamins and things like that for that, okay? This woman, her parents failed her. Her country failed her. Her Democratic Party did. Her country, they didn't fight, for the standards and the morals and ethics of America, failed her. How does she have, in her right mind, go on Twitter and say, who's going to kill somebody, right? So I wrote the article, and it's the biggest article I've ever written, I think. And I'm really fired up about it, too. And if I could talk to that woman, I would tell her, I wanted to highlight you, and I hope you get some help, and I hope you turn around and tell people it's not okay to behave like this, even if Hillary Clinton, the insane, is saying things on television, So it's Samantha, I think, Nees, Nees,
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just got picked up by a lot of people. And there's a picture of her, darling young girl, smiling with a little butterfly. And then there's a picture as you scroll down of her with pink hair and like she's taken a marker and drawn eyebrows on her face. And it's just like, what has feminism and leftism done to this woman and her future, her potential, her relationships, her parents, everything? What a shame. If that was my child, Samantha Ness, Minnesota.
There was another story. We got about 5 more minutes before the top of the hour. And you wrote this.
Okay.
This was, and you mentioned it at the beginning of the show, where where Facebook purges 800 pages. And I'd like to throw this out because you make a direct reference to another site, an alternative to, say, Twitter. Now, I'm on Gab.ai, but I've discovered that Gab is not terribly intuitive. And I'm still kind of checking around to see if there are any alternatives. Now, in this article, you mention Facebook purges 800 pages, conservatives flee to Spreely.com. I had no idea what the hell a Spreely.com was.
So Spreely, and this was a Roger Stone connection. Roger Stone connected me with Pete Santilli, who is on Liberty One TV, and he does a great job, and I can talk to you for hours about him. So he has Liberty One TV, and over there they are promoting Spreely, Speak Freely, Spreely, Spreely, which is an alternative to Facebook. And I think they're still working out some bugs because, these things take a long time.
Yes, they do.
But it's sort of Facebook. It's sort of Facebook-esque. Now, I don't want to say anything negative about Gab because I give them a lot of credit for what they've done to come out, and to give an alternative and to promote it. That's a lot of work they've put into that, hundreds of hours, lots of money. But it's counterintuitive to me too. There are things about Gab where I just have a hard time, and I hope that they fix it. I hope that they get it worked out so that people can get off of Twitter or at least have have a choice, go someplace else. But try Spreely. That's more of a Facebook style new social media platform, and they say that they're not going to ban anybody, that you actually can block people if you don't want to see their content. So they're going to do sort of the same thing as Gab did with Speaking Freely.
Okay. Oh, by the way, welcome to Andy Wood in chat. He says, hello, everyone. There's another one that I just heard about over the radio, and it was snippy.com, SNIPPY.com. But I find it very interesting that when Twitter and Facebook are putting pressure, Google, et cetera, basically all the alphabet companies and all the social media, that people are beginning to abandon that crap, just like they're abandoning the Democrats and the leftists. So that's a good thing to see, that now there are alternatives coming up. One other article that you did, if I can get over to this, and I think this might be the last one. What's your opinion on what happened with Kanye West in the Oval Office today? And we got about 2 minutes for that.
Well, so I think it's very interesting. I think that he gave his genuine feelings about President Trump. He talked a lot about, the breakdown of mental health, which is what I picked up in my article. I was talking about how the breakdown in mental health, which really started with Reagan, has really done a disservice to us because people don't have any boundaries. There's another death threat in that article of a man with mental problems who says he has mental problems making a death threat. But I think that the overall thing with Kanye is he is an icon to his generation for whatever reason. And so when the media is calling him, oh, he's insane, he's unhinged, he's bipolar, they're just showing that they do not have a connection with Americans. My own son really, really, really loves Kanye. And so Kanye reaches across skin colors, and he talks to males and females, and he represents a lot of things that they feel. Some of his lyrics and his songs are brilliant. So, you know, to see him beaten up by the media for having a different point of view is just so silly. But when he said, I feel like Superman when I put on this red hat, you know, I didn't have a dad. And so I was just like, I know what he sees in President Trump. Yep. President Trump lays down a law, and that's the way it's going to be. And everybody needs that kind of boundary in their life somewhere. If they don't have it, they go off the rails on a crazy train in their life, either as a kid or as an adult. And so that hug that Kanye gave him, I think was so genuine and real and full of thank you for being my dad. And it reminds me of how Trump played that song at every one of his rallies. The last song was, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. And so Trump is, many of these people are finally waking up and saying, well, I didn't really like him. I didn't really want him, but I think I just figured out that I need him. And that's what that article to me is about.
That's the brilliance of Carrie Baxter Donovan, BZ's East Coast political goddess. Thank you for being here tonight. Again, where can you be found and read?
So populist.media, and we're on Facebook, Populist Media. We haven't been banned. And Happit, HAPPIT 1776. And thank you so much for letting me come on. I always love talking to you.
Bingo, exactly. You've been all over the, hey, you went on another radio show recently too, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. I've been doing a couple of things. I went on with Liberty One TV, and I went on with Halsey and Dustin last night. And I think I've done some other radio too. I can't remember. I'm tired now.
Yeah, you are absolutely what I call ubiquitous, folks. We've been listening to Carrie Baxter Donovan. Thank you ever so kindly for being here, and we will have to have you back again, of course. And we're going to big hugs to you, ma'am. You take care. Have a nice sleep.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Carrie Baxter Donovan, we're going to be right back after this. And if you think we hit politics before, well, I think we're going to hit some more politics. But not just politics. There's a lot of good stuff that's happening out there that people need to know about. Some stuff that's positive for conservatives. And that's my job from here on out, is to make sure that everybody's apprised of what the positive things are that are going on for conservatives and in conservatism right now. And before we go to the break, thanks to Mike, White Mamba, Whiskey Dale, Andy Woods, Simone for being in chat. Be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's no surrender ever, because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads against tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads against tyranny.
Wednesday nights, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same sack time, same sack channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Well, we had Carrie Baxter Donovan on for the first hour, and as per normal, she's a big favorite here. White Mamba in chat said that Carrie was way on point tonight. She's always on point. Now I know why she is the SHR Network. Well, she's not the SHR Network's East Coast political goddess. I must take credit that Carrie Baxter Donovan is the bloviating Zeppelin's East Coast political goddess. So, Carrie, if you happen to be listening, although I suspect you're going nighty-night right now, Whiskey Dale just also gave you a big hug verbally. He said, Carrie is top shelf. So, hey, White Mamba, Whiskey Dale, both big believers in. Speaking of talking like that, I don't see Beantown Billy in here in chat right now. Maybe he's just listening covertly. I got a lot of stuff I can do. But and a lot of articles to read and good stories to go over. But I decided to because it's my show. I get to do this. I get to change things up. I'm going to read this article, then I'm going to read another article to you that I hope will light you up. Because I think we're in the process of being lit up. And I think finally the GOP is starting to get lit up. And it's about damn time. Way overdue. I have been saying for quite some time that way too many Republicans, way too many conservatives, the GOP have been they've been invertebrates. They're like a paramecium or even a single mecium. It doesn't matter. But now they're starting to get a spine, and I suspect it's because of Donald John Trump. Now, that having been said, I'm going to read a Kurt Schlichter article, then I'm going to read you an article that I believe is going to get you fired up, and we need to be fired up like crazy from now, because there are 26 more days from now until November 6th. People got pissed off because of all the ridiculous crap that was pulled on Kavanaugh. A good man, an actual good man. And in a way, I very roundaboutingly, I guess that's a word, I just made it, I hope the Democrats, leftists, and the American media maggots double down on pulling this crap. The stupid crap that Hillary Clinton said, the stupid crap that Eric Holder said today. I have an article about that. I have a story about that as well. But first, let's do Kurt Schlichter, because you know how I feel about him. And Murray Brockman isn't here. Gosh, do I want to go here? There's about a 5-minute cut, and I might not do it tonight. I might run out of time. But there's a 5-minute cut of a British guy who used to work for the BBC, and he gets into identity politics. And what he says is absolutely true. I'm going to have to dig around. I didn't line it up for this tonight. It just came into my brain housing group right now. But this guy goes on a 5-minute rant, essentially about identity politics. And there are quite a number of F and S words in there, but everything that he says is true. He just says it with emphasis, shall we say. At the bottom of the hour break, let's see, at 9:30 my time, 12:30 East, I'm going to go see if I can dig around for that, because it will be sufficiently late night for people to hear this. Looking over here at my computer, I have 3-4 computer screens staring at me. Most of my stuff is lined up over here on these tabs, so I'm going to have to go digging around for that cut. With luck, I'll be able to find it. And like Whiskey Hill says, if I had a producer. Okay. In any event, Kurt Schlichter. And this came out today. No, I'm sorry. No, it did come out today at townhall.com by Kurt Schlichter. And he says this: remember that our opponents are insane, crazy people. Stop. Kurt, you had me at the title of your article. He writes, I liked it when the howling loonies started pounding on the bronze doors of the Supreme Court like Brett Kavanaugh was totally going to open them up and invite the freaks in to air their many stupid grievances over a hot cup of too damn bad. I also liked it when Lindsey Graham dissed that silly shrieking harpy as he adjusted his tie and smirked. If you haven't seen that photograph, go to bloviatingzeppelin.net, scroll down a little bit, and you're going to find that photograph of... There's a great photo. That's one of my all-time favorite photographs of Lindsey Graham. And I liked it when Jesse Kelly channeled Andrew Breitbart by heading down to the protest with a t-shirt that read, "Hands off my uterus." I liked a lot of things about last week, and all of them involved liberal jerks being unhappy. Now, in the wake of our total victory over the forces of whiny, stupid evil, I'm trying to think of another term to describe people who think the hysterical chicks in the Crucible were the good guys and that Atticus Finch was the bad guy. Some voices on the right are cautioning us to be magnanimous, to not be sore winners, to extend a hand of friendship to those who oppose us. Kurt Schlichter writes, "Oh, I'm extending a hand, but only part of one, a single finger. Guess which one? Good sportsmanship applies to sports. It does not apply to street fights. This was a lynching of a good man for cheap political advantage, and it must be punished if we are going to have less of them in the future. If we can increase their agony at losing, then we're hastening the day when they learn that they don't get to win. Not ever. They're going to grow tired of all the losing. We, on the other hand, shall never tire of all the winning. The Fredo-Con sissies want to steal the joy of victory from us and replace it with a sort of despondent funk that is their preferred state, because true conservative trademark principles require that if we can't lose outright, we must at least feel like we lost. Except we didn't lose. We won. Justice won. We defeated a calculated smear designed to destroy an innocent man in the name of progressive tyranny. And we should be happy. And we should be utterly obnoxious about it. And we should laugh at the howling fools getting minimum wage for chasing wussy, flaky senators around parking lots. This is not the time to go back to the same limp, listless conservatism that got us here in the first place. Kurt Schlichter has a new book called Militant Normals, How Regular Americans Are Rebelling Against the Elite to Reclaim Our Democracy. And in that book, he says, I talk a lot about how the same Conservative Inc., Conservative Incorporated goofs who want us to surrender now that we've won, got us here by failing to understand what they were up against in the before-Trump era, when nice guys like Mitt the cancer-causing dog torturer literally finished last. They were blind out of professional courtesy. The loony left are fellow members of the same elite class, and our conservative-ish betters didn't want to rock the boat, or the donor-filled cruise ship, as it were. Well, ahoy, losers! We're woke, and we're free of your fussy influence. We have crushed our enemies and driven them before us, and now we hear the sweet music that is the lamentation of the women-identifying persons. You never-Trumpers who used to talk a big game about conservative success to milk your marks, now look upon your success in despair. We look at the festival of insanity and we choose to giggle. What do we see? Joyous misery. Dick Blumenthal hasn't been so upset since Charlie was in the wire around New Haven during the Tet Offensive. Where's Dick's parade? Maisie Hirono says Kavanaugh is, quote, going to be on the Supreme Court with a huge taint and a big asterisk after his name. When he writes the opinion ending the baby-killing bonanza that is Roe v. Wade, you can kiss his asterisk, Maisie, if that's your real name. And Cory Booker is now apparently the senator from Chumbawamba. Then there are the social media blue cokes. Let's see. Jill Filipovic demanded that normal women divorce your Republican husbands. If you're down to take relationship advice from a millennial feminist who writes books with titles like The H Spot, The Feminist Pursuit of Happiness, I'm thinking you may end up unsatisfied. It sounds like 50 Shades with less bondage, but with much more pain. And there was another Twitter genius who shall remain linkless, who suggested to women, don't blank Republican men. Apparently some feminists think denying conservative men feminist women is going to make conservative men do less of whatever it is that causes them to be denied feminist women. Figured that out. Normal women will scoff at this admonition. Taking erotic advice from a feminist is like taking driving lessons from a Kennedy. Poor gal. Since she's presumably only rode the spinning teacups of sexuality that are liberal beta boys, it's not unexpected that she doesn't get why real women choose to ride Colossus, the roller coaster of conservative manhood. I can't write this stuff myself. Oh, and let's not forget the parade of protesting weirdos, from oppression LARPers dressed as handmaids. I liked Lonely Weird Girls better when they read Sylvia Plath, to commie Wiccans trying to cast spells to tatted up human pincushions who insist on telling you their pronouns. These people were all nuts. And that's awesome. America is watching. America is laughing. And if the latest polling is any indication, America is determined to vote accordingly. Kurt Schlichter. Again, another reason why I love to read Kurt Schlichter. I'm going to have him on again when he doesn't have a book to promote. When he was on for a full hour. Mary Brockman wasn't very happy because he does bandy about a few F and S words. But I got to admit, he was funny as hell. Okay, let's go into some... Oh, wait. No. God, that reminds me of... that guy, Andy... Oh, Andy Robinson. Do you guys remember the 1971 film? The first Harry Callahan movie, Dirty Harry, which, when you look at the San Francisco background, it does not yet have the Transamerica building in it, which is really bizarre to me. But Andy Robinson played Scorpio, which was kind of a takeoff of the Zodiac Killer. And Andy Robinson was a great bad guy in that. But Andy Robinson said, oh, no. Okay, well, maybe you didn't see that. In any event, without further ado, I think it's about time to...
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Here's one that happens to be a two-parter. It's from the Washington Times, and it came out today. Senate Judiciary Committee clears 8 of Trump's judicial nominees. The same Senate Judiciary Committee. Yeah. That's the same one. The Judiciary Committee cleared 8 more judicial nominees Thursday today, giving GOP leaders a total of, ready for this? Hope you're sitting down. A total of 49 judges ready to be confirmed by the whole Senate. The votes, the first since the committee's nasty fight over Supreme Court Justice Brett M. Kavanaugh, cleared 7 district court nominees and 1 circuit court pick. The nominee Jonathan A. Kobes for the 8th U.S. Circuit District Court of Appeals was approved on a party line vote. But wait, there's more. There was one after that. And it came out just a little bit later, again from the Washington Times. And the headline is this: Senate now confirms 15 Trump judges today, Thursday, after GOP leaders and Democrats strike a deal. The Senate confirmed 15 of President Trump's judicial picks Thursday night after GOP leaders reached a deal with Democrats, clearing about a third of the backlog and closing up shop throughout Election Day to give senators a chance to campaign. 3 of the judges are for the powerful circuit courts of appeal, while the other 12 were district court positions. Many cleared on near party lines, while others were approved by voice votes. They were the first judicial confirmation since last weekend's battle over Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Some Republicans had hoped senators would stay in town to work on all 49 judicial picks who'd been ready for floor votes, but the 15 was basically the best deal the GOP could get, representing the amount of judges who could realistically have been confirmed if the Senate had devoted full time to confirmations over the next few weeks. Let me translate for you. Just as Hugh Hewitt said in the story that I read last Tuesday, President Trump is getting more judges approved than prior presidents, and that is a good thing. Now, obviously, it's a great thing that we're getting Neil Gorsuch, and it's a great thing that we got Brett Kavanaugh. And it kind of disturbs me to have to say it, but still, I must give props where props are due. Mitch McConnell, say what you will about him, and he and I have disagreed on many, many issues, like he knows who the hell I am. That said, Mitch McConnell was stellar with regard to working Neil Gorsuch, and Mitch McConnell was stellar with regard to the working of Judge, now Associate Justice, Brett Kavanaugh. And that's all I can say about that. Here's another story. This is another happy story. This is from the Daily Caller. And I think this is the tip of the iceberg. You're only starting to hear about some of these things now. But again, that's why I bring these stories to you. The headline is, Facebook engineer quits over company's mob-like attacks on anyone opposed to left-leaning ideology. A Facebook engineer announced his resignation yesterday, Wednesday, decrying the company culture as one that operates on groupthink, uses appeasement as a PR strategy, and attacks conservative views. I'm leaving, this is a quote, I'm leaving because I'm burnt out on Facebook, our strategy, our culture, and our product. Brian Amarige wrote in an internal message to company employees, adding that Facebook's PR strategy is appeasement, not morally earned pride and self-defense, according to Business Insider. This is a story from Business Insider. I care too deeply about our role in supporting free expression and intellectual diversity to even wholeheartedly attempt the product stuff anymore, and that's how I know it's time to go, he said. Amarige will officially leave the company on Friday. This is also interesting because Amarige, his resignation comes after he wrote another internal memo in August calling the company out for mob-like attacks on anybody who doesn't ascribe to the political left's agenda. He wrote, and this is a quote, "We are a political monoculture, quick to attack, often in mobs, anyone who presents a view that appears to be in opposition to left-leaning ideology." And he's absolutely correct. Look, you know it, and I know it. Let me do a call out right now, by the way, to all the American truckers, because I keep getting emails, etc., from truckers, and people have contacted me on various forms of social media. And I like to give a call out to the truckers because essentially what some of them have said is, we're starting to listen to your show. We don't watch the show, but we listen to you, and we like the times that you come on, and we can also go back into the internet because the internet obviously is in these big-ass trucks moving down the road. And these guys drive for like 8 hours at a time, stop for PP and food breaks, etc. And they're sending me messages saying that they really appreciate what I'm bringing to them and that they can drive and listen to something at the same time, and they like that. So, like Whiskey Dale says in chat right now, we love truckers. You bet I do. Folks, truckers, I don't care, left, right, black, brown, you keep America moving. You get to keep America moving, and you must keep America moving. So a shout out to you guys for following me. God bless you. I love you. Be safe while you're out there. But let's move into something that Eric Holder happened to say today. And I'm going to play an audio cut to you from Eric Holder, and I'll have enough time. Let's see. I got 5 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. So I'm going to have enough time to play this Eric Holder audio cut for you. And then in response was something that rather was astounding. But first, former Attorney General, the first Attorney General under Barack Hussein Obama, Eric Holder, had this to say recently when he's speaking in front of a large group of sycophants.
It is time for us as Democrats to be as tough as they are, to be as dedicated as they are, to be as committed as they are. Michelle always says, Michelle Obama, I love her, you know. She and my wife like really tight, which always scares me and Barack. But Michelle always says that, you know, when they go low, we go high. No. When they go low, we kick them.
So there you go. When they go low, we kick them. That's a former Attorney General. Well, in response to that, perhaps Michelle Obama heard something, or perhaps she heard that cut when she was used in reference herself. Here's an article from NBC, DallasFortWorth.com, and the headline is, quote, "Fear is not a proper motivation. Michelle Obama rejects Eric Holder's 'we kick them' stance." It says, if you think of the values we try to promote to our children, you have to think about which motto do you want them to live by, Michelle Obama said. And I have an audio cut. Let's see if that is up, and I can play that. Unless NBC doesn't want me to play it. But essentially this.
And welcome back to Today on a very special Thursday morning. Our plaza is packed. We've got more than 600 girls from all over the country.
Okay, I'm not going to listen to screaming people. Had enough of that. Anyway, the story continues. Former First Lady Michelle Obama said Thursday she stands by her "when they go low, we go high" motto, despite calls this week by what she called some high-profile Democrats, to do the opposite. She said, "Fear is not a proper motivator. Hope wins out. If you think about how you want your kids to be raised, just like Carrie Baxter Donovan mentioned during the first hour, how you want them to think about life and their opportunities, do you want them afraid of their neighbors? Do you want them angry? Do you want them vengeful?" She added then, in thinking about what values to promote for children, she said, you have to think about which motto do you want them to live by. If you remember, Michelle Obama coined that phrase, "we go high," during her 2016 speech at the Democrat National Convention, and it became a motto for Democrats on how to respond to Donald Trump's campaign rhetoric. Except now, today, and I know why, because he basically kicked Michelle Obama out onto Front Street. Now Michelle Obama herself has a response to that. We're going to hit the break a little bit early. Come right back. You're listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin. That's I. Right here on the SHR Media Network. Come right back, please. Hello? Oh, if I only... Geez, what did White Mamba say? I think he said, if I only had a producer.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads radio show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated?
I wish I had a producer.
To do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yeah. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for a good for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know, I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads Against Tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Well, it is the final half hour of the Sackheads, of not the Sackheads show. God, So there I was, working diligently for you. Going through my Facebook page, which is where I think I originally placed this, and I'm not finding that cut that I was telling you about. So in deference, I may... Oh, gosh, I'm still going down there. But in the process of doing this, what it's doing is reminding me that there is so much information and there is so many stories out there. Wait a minute. Oh. Okay. I found it. But the big question is, dare I play it? This is, let's see, I think it's 7 minutes. And I was going to either play this or read another story. And now that I've found this, I think I'm going to play this. It's 7 minutes and 23 seconds long. And for those of you who are still up late at night and or perhaps you're listening with children in the room and you have people who may not care for language, shall we say, it's time to put your headphones on and or get those other people out of the room. But this is a guy who's from Britain, and his name is Jason Searle, S-E-A-R-L-E. He's absolutely correct. And he's asking essentially, with all the crazy leftist crap that's going on, and he's specifically talking about the United Kingdom, but he could equally be talking about the United States of America as well. What he's saying is, where is, as I've said for quite some time, and I've quantified it this way, where is rationality? Where is proportion? Where's logic? Where are the facts? Where's the sense of history? And where is common sense? And he's going to address the issue of leftists, but again, he's specifically talking about the UK. But you tell me if you don't think that he could be talking equally about the United States of America. I certainly do.
Okay. Well, it's a beautiful day, so we're up on the studio roof. Today we'll be discussing Laura Ingalls Wilder, author of the Little House on the Prairie books, whose name has been removed from a writing award because her books display stereotypical attitudes and contain racial language. Well, duh. Of course they do. Sorry. Okay, go again. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful day, so we're up on the studio roof. Today we're going to be discussing Laura Ingalls Wilder, author of the Little House on the Prairie books, whose name has been removed from a writing award because her books display stereotypical attitudes and contain racial language. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'd be fucking amazed if they didn't, frankly. These books, they're based on the author's childhood between 1870 and 1894. That's like 5 years after slavery was abolished. The books were written during the Jim Crow laws. It's almost as if cultural norms aren't fixed and change with the passage of time. Who is this helping? No one. No one needs protecting from Little House on the fucking Prairie.
Thank you.
Or for that matter, the racially charged language of Huckleberry Finn, or To Kill a Mockingbird, or fucking... What does this achieve?
Nothing.
Who does this help? Stop sanitizing and denying the past to make yourself look good. I'm sick of it. It's utter bullshit. And it's fucking everywhere you look. We live in the most inclusive, progressive, diverse, prosperous society ever in human history, yet we behave as if we've never had it so fucking bad. We're told that there is prejudice wherever you look because there aren't enough female biographies on Wikipedia or enough BAME cyclists on the road. Apparently, the biggest challenge to London cyclists is not safety, it's diversity. We used to react to prejudice. Now we actively seek it out, often where it doesn't fucking exist. Fucking Google has taken the egg out of its salad emoji to make it more inclusive for vegans. Is there a single vegan in the world that feels triggered or oppressed or unrepresented by a salad emoji with an egg in it? What does this achieve? Who does this help? My generation, right, we've never really had to fight for much. Gay rights certainly has come a long way in my lifetime, but I mean, we never had to fight for the vote. We never had to fight in a fucking war. My grandmother watched the Battle of Britain taking place above her house. Nazis in planes over her house attempting to invade our country. Actual Nazis. I'm not talking Trump voters, actual Nazis. Recently, you had Vogue magazine saying tackling women's issues today is harder than women's battle for the vote. You pampered, privately educated cunts. The suffragettes went on fucking hunger strike. Emily Davidson sacrificed her life. Wearing a Louis Vuitton black dress on a red carpet is not the same as jumping in front of a fucking racehorse.
By the way, this guy is not reading from a card. This is all extemporaneous. Another reason that it's brilliant.
Stop fucking demonstrating how fucking worthy you are. And it's not just, it's fucking, look at this, it's fucking everything. It's everything, right? What's this? The Pride fucking sponsored Costa coffee. Who does this help? I'd like a skinny latte, please, with 1 pump of sugar-free hazelnut syrup. Would you like it in a cup that publicly displays that you're happy with the notion of same-sex couples having the right to... I just want a fucking coffee, mate. It's 6:30 a.m. and in 20 minutes I'm scheduled to interview Amber fucking Rudd. I just need the fucking caffeine. Give me my fucking skinny latte. We don't call it a skinny latte anymore, sir, because that phrase is considered fat shaming. So I would just fuck off then. Peter Tatchell getting arrested in Russia, protesting their disgusting record on gay rights. I'm with you every step of the fucking way. Putting a rainbow on a placemat in Wagamama's. Who is that for, exactly? Or are you just cynically hijacking an entire social movement to promote your chain of restaurants by wrapping your corporate brand in rainbow-coloured virtue to help you sell dumplings? Stop politicising my dumplings. This is just a corporate extension of this modern phenomenon of demonstrating how fucking right on and fucking woke we all are. I see people who define themselves as anti-fascist on their Twitter profiles. Who isn't? I'm sorry, that's the default setting. It's not impressive to be anti-fascist. Imagine showing off about that. I am not a fascist. Good! What do you want, a fucking medal? Not endorsing fascism is about as common as not endorsing fingering children, okay? Can we not just work from the assumption that most people, even people we don't like, aren't fascists? Vice magazine recently reviewed the trailer for the new live-action remake of Dumbo and said the trailer was, and I quote, cute and heartwarming and seemingly neither racist nor terrifying. News just in, the new Dumbo film probably isn't racist. What on earth made you think it would be?
Seemingly.
This is what identity politics does to you. It turns your fucking head into blancmange. You can't see the world how it actually is. You see racism and oppression where there is none. A white girl singing along to Kendrick Lamar doesn't make her a racist. Let's not pretend it does, okay? That executive from Netflix who got fired last week for saying an offensive word in a meeting that was called to discuss the use of offensive words. Welcome to 2018, where context and intent are no longer required to brand your fellow citizens fucking racist. It's madness, and yet it's mainstream. It's fucking normal.
Yes.
The new Star Wars film drew criticism because it doesn't deal with the issue of slavery in a satisfactory manner. Shut up! I'm fucking watching Star Wars! The film Dunkirk was criticised for not having enough women or people of colour in it. It's set in the English Channel during World War fucking...
That's how stupid it's gotten. That's how stupid it's gotten.
Too. This is the politicisation of art, which of course is the end of fucking art, and it's fucking everywhere. J.K. Rowling got a pasting from LGBT activists because Dumbledore isn't openly gay in the new Fantastic Beasts film. Is this really the height of the gay community's oppression? I don't for 1 second believe that it is, but if it is, the war's already been won. Okay, if the worst thing that's happening is a wizard not being shown taking it up to the elbow, you fucking made it. Chill out. It's all fucking good, mate. Do you really think any normal person, and when I say normal, I mean white, black, girl, boy, gay, straight, and everything in between, you know, fucking normal, do you think any normal person really gives a fuck about this shit? Anyone normal, they just want to eat their fucking noodles, drink their skinny latte, watch their crappy kids movie, appreciate old novels written by people with different sets of values to us, and of course speak out against racism and oppression and injustice, but where it actually exists. Because there's a lot of it about. There's a lot of it in this country, but you won't find it in a novel written 100 years ago, or on a picture of an egg, or in a movie about a flying fucking elephant. Crows? What? I've never seen Dumbo. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful day, so we're up on the studio roof. Today, we're going to be discussing Laura Ingalls Wilder.
I couldn't make a better example myself out of that. Absolutely correct. And yet we've gotten to that point. How did we get here? We got here by not fighting back. That's exactly how we got here. And I spoke a little bit earlier about Kanye West. And Kanye West gets to be an individual. Kanye West gets to go philosophically wherever the political prairie winds want to take him, because he's an individual and he gets to make decisions for himself. But when he starts to make decisions that are not in keeping with Gaia's great plan in terms of the LDAM, leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots, well, there's only one reason why Kanye is doing any of that. It's because he's crazy. Right? So let's listen to MSNBC.
Wow. Okay, I'm doing this for everybody who's watching us who turned their volume down. You can put it back up again. That
but
was
if you think you're
bonkers.
going to get a thoughtful play-by-play and political analysis, you're not, because that was an assault on our White House.
We're not.
Okay, they just played what Kanye West had said in the White House on Thursday in front of Donald John Trump, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head. And I can play that later if you're interested. But my interest is with this reaction by MSNBC.
You can't analyze some of that stuff that was said. As we warned you at the top, there was a little bit of profanity. There was actually more than you heard. We were able to bleep some of it out, but there was some of it did make it in there. That was crazy. That was bonkers. I mean, the things that Kanye said.
Kanye West is crazy. We have to convince you that he's crazy because only a crazy black man would go against leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots. Therefore, he must be crazy. Continue listening, please.
I go with my favorite.
Yeah.
How he talked about he had a lack of male role models in his life growing up.
Not a lot of male energy in his house.
The reason he was drawn to MAGA was because of the male power.
When he put that cap on, he felt like a guy who could play catch with his
because he didn't have that opportunity, which was stunning. You know, when he also said, you know, a lot of African Americans out there, they don't like the again. They don't like make America great again. And the reason being, if you are anything but a white male, historically, life wasn't better for you than it is in the current moment. It's stunning, Ali, that just took place. And even that the president was...
It's stunning. It's stunning. Well, it gets maybe a little bit more stunning. Let me see if I have that cut. I believe I do. Okay, here are some people who are saying that Kanye he's just not there. He's not okay. That was MSNBC. This is CNN.
May we live in interesting times. Look, all jokes aside, I thought that was really sad. I think you had there a man who's clearly not okay and a president who's willing to exploit that. And work.
Stop. What they mean is Kanye West is insane. He's not all there. He's not present. The elevator does not go to the very top floor because only an insane black man would have the temerity to say what he did in front of everyone and not care. Therefore, he has to be crazy.
To exploit that under the auspices of race relations and black communities, joblessness, mental health, all the things that ended up in this bucket of issues that were sort of addressed in this free-for-all. I don't know that any of them...
Okay, stop right there for a second. As I said earlier today, I had a troll that got on me with regard to Kanye West. And he said, How can you say these things that you say? How can you write these things that you write? Kanye West is mentally defective. Kanye West admits that he is off his meds. Okay. So does that mean Kanye West does not have an opinion? And does that mean that Kanye West does not get to have an opinion? And apparently this troll knows exactly what's going on in Kanye West's head at the time that Kanye West is saying these things. Because, as I say, only an insane black man would utter words like this out of his mouth in public for anyone to hear. Think of the terrible people, the negative influencing that Kanye West could be having right this very second. What if more Democrats, former Democrats, and maybe even people who might be convinced to hashtag walk away, what if they hear what Kanye West is saying? Does this not lend credence just a bit to the hashtag walk away movement? That's why we have to stab him immediately in his heart, in his head particularly, and declare him incompetent. Kanye West is a mental defective, and he is absolutely incompetent.
We're very well served by this circus.
It's a circus. So Kanye West is a mental defective. This is what happens when you get off the reservation. But there's more good stuff. Remember I told you about Mitch McConnell. This may end up the show. I want you to hear some of the things that Mitch McConnell, I happened to see, what was this, Fox News Sunday, last Sunday. I don't customarily jump on board the Sunday political shows. For God's sake, there's enough politics to do me in every day, every hour. But for whatever reason, I was watching Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday, and he started speaking to Mitch McConnell. And Mitch McConnell had a few interesting things to say, specifically regarding the recent confirmation hearings of now Associate Justice, I like saying that, Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
Joining me now from Louisville, Kentucky, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Senator, you have called putting conservative justices on the court, conservative judges on all levels of the court, the most consequential action that you can take in your role. I want to put up what the record is. Under President Trump, with you as Majority Leader, Listen to this. These stats really are incredible. These are incredible times. Supreme Court justices have been confirmed, and 26 judges have been put on circuit courts. That's the fastest pace in history. Question, sir, is this... That's the fastest pace in history, plus the 17 additional judges that were confirmed today, Thursday, because for me on the left coast, it's not yet tomorrow the 12th. Your proudest moment as a senator?
I think so. I think the most important thing the Senate is involved in is the personnel business. The House is not in the personnel business. And of the various 1,200 appointments that come to us for confirmation, obviously the most important are the lifetime appointments to the courts, and we've prioritized handling President Trump's outstanding nominees for the Supreme Court, as well as the circuit courts, and we've done 26 so far, as you indicated, a record, and there'll be more before the end of the year.
Some hard-right conservatives have criticized you over the year as too establishment, but now they are lining up to praise you for ramming through the Kavanaugh nomination, and even the likes of Steve Bannon has praised your, what he called, strong leadership. Are you happy to...
Okay, stop right there. What do you do with regular people? I guess, like the Democrats expect blacks and Hispanics to be a fucking monolithic block, I guess I'm expected to be monolithic, and all human beings are expected to be monolithic. There are things that Mitch McConnell did that I didn't care for. There are things that Mitch McConnell did that I think are wonderful. I get to decide that. Chris Wallace doesn't get to decide that. I get to decide when I like Mitch McConnell and when he does the right thing, because I get to have an opinion. Oh, by the way, the opinion that leftists, Democrats, and American media maggots want me to have eliminated from now into all perpetuity.
Have his approval, sir.
It's almost an out-of-body experience, I must say.
But how do you take this criticism that that the Tea Party, the far right of the Republican Party, has had of you over the years as you've been trying to do your business up on?
The Tea Party was far right. Remember that. The Tea Party was far right, Chris Wallace, because, hey, let's consider that for a second. We liked the U.S. Constitution. We liked the Bill of Rights. We read the Federalist Papers. We even read the Anti-Federalist Papers. And we believe in liberty and freedom, those damn Tea Partiers, right? By the way, don't you, if any of you out there are parents, don't you praise your kids when they do something wrong? Yeah. And don't you tell them that you don't like it when they do something bad? Yeah. I guess I don't get to do that either because, well, like all Democrats, I'm just monolithic.
Capital L.
Well, it's pretty hard to be the majority leader of the Senate without getting some criticism. I'd rather be judged by my record, and I think this has been an extraordinarily accomplished Congress. In fact, the most productive two-year period right of center in the time I've been in the Senate, whether it's taxes.
Okay, stop right there. Do you think he would have been as efficient? Do you think there would have been an equal amount of efficacy had, let me throw this out there, had Jeb Bush been in the White House? Do you think that would be true if Mitt Romney were in the White House? I do not.
Regulations. We've gotten the economy booming, and we're making long-term systemic changes in the courts that will serve future generations of Americans in a very good way.
I know that there have been some bipartisan accomplishments as well. You voted on an FAA bill in this last week. You also did a big bill to fight the opioid crisis. But there's no question that this Kavanaugh confirmation battle has come at a cost, that just the relations between Republican senators and Democratic senators seem to have taken a downturn. Here's Democratic Democratic leader.
Gee, do you think I have an opinion on this just before we wrap up the show? Maybe.
Chuck Schumer on the floor this week talking about and criticizing you for delaying them after what he said was your 10-month delay. And blocking the nomination of Merrick Garland from President Obama. Here's Schumer.
No American should accept his admonishments about delay. He's the master of delay. Compared to 10 months, leaving the Scalia seat open, who are we kidding?
Senator, how broken is the Senate?
The Senate's not broken, and we didn't attack Merrick Garland's background and try to destroy him. We didn't go on a search and destroy mission. We simply followed the tradition in America, which is that if you have a party of the different Senate of a different party than the president, you don't fill a vacancy created in a presidential year. That went all the way back to 1888. But Schumer himself said 18 months before the end of the Bush tenure that if a vacancy occurred, they wouldn't fill it. So what we did was follow tradition. But we didn't attack the nominee. We didn't go on a search and destroy mission. I agree that with Chuck Schumer, this has been a low point in the Senate. I have a different view about who caused the low point. Senate and Judiciary Democrats leaking Dr. Ford's name against apparently her desires, then trying to lower the standard and say that the presumption of innocence no longer applies in the United States of America, and then the mob descended on Capitol Hill and tried to intimidate our members.
That's absolutely true. Isn't it like this? And you correct me if you don't think this is proper. The reason that leftists, the Democrats, and the American media maggots are going 210 over 190 is specifically because up to this point there has not been any kind of a concerted effort to push back at them. The Republicans have been way too conciliatory, have been all about bipartisanship, squish, compromise, etc. But when someone in the form of President Donald John Trump begins to draw actual lines and demands that people on the right side, the Republican side, actually sack up a bit, that they're not the squishes they used to be, that, see, because the Democrats are happy only if there's one way that's acquired, their way. If it's not their way, well, it's like Ben Shapiro said. If you're a leftist, a Democrat, or an American media maggot, as far as every individual is concerned to Democrats, you're either a useful tool, and when you're done, you're discarded. Stop. I wrote this last week, and I also put the tweet out about this. There was a great meme, and it came out, and it's a photo from the back of a car, and the car says Democrats, and there's a person being kicked out of the side door, and the person that's being kicked out of the side door is labeled Christine Blasey Ford. And they said last week, and it's true this week, when she's no longer useful, and she wasn't useful, you're not going to hear about her anymore. And so once they didn't get their way with Christine Blasey Ford, she's a zero. She doesn't exist for the Democrats anymore because, as I indicated, if you're a Democrat, you're either a useful tool or you're an obstacle.
Monsieur has been locked.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelins Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. If you want to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at BZEP, B-Z-E-P, and on my blog at bloviatingzeppelin.net. My original music is by Possessed Tranquility. You can find them at reverbnation.com. Promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and the Boeing Company. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going. Also, by Pratt & Whitney Engines, Thrust, You Can Trust. Tiaras by My Little Pony. Thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I shall be consorting in less than an hour. I'm going to have new t-shirts about my refueling team coming out shortly. Thanks to Carrie Baxter Donovan for being here in the first hour. I grandly appreciate it. Thanks for being in chat, everyone here. Thanks for listening in podcast. If you're a trucker, God bless you. Be safe. Keep on driving. You make America. You keep it moving. Folks, have a great weekend. God bless. Take care. You be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Jim Bob.
Good night and good luck.